Brought to you by Allstate, whose policies now include protection for your home, your family, as well as your car. You're in good hands with Allstate. And now, let's all play What's My Line?
And now, live from New York, let's meet the What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now a very handsome young man who is about to go into rehearsal with Elizabeth Bergner in a new Sam Taylor play called First Love, to be directed by the most distinguished man in the theater, Alfred Lunt. Here he is, Mr. Hugh O'Brien.
Thank you very much. It's my privilege to introduce a lady that is quite famous in this town, all over the country. She's a very glamorous lady, a very warm individual. And besides that, she's also one of the best-dressed ladies in the land, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And it's my privilege to introduce our favorite Random House publisher, and incidentally my publisher, Bennett, Cerf.
And here's our panel moderator, who is going to MC a big television do tomorrow called The Sound of the 60s. As far as What's My Line is concerned, he is the sound of the 60s, John Charles Daly.
It's nice to have Wyatt Earp on the panel. Bennett may behave himself. Never could tell. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. It's nice to have you with us, I must say, Mr. Hugh O'Brien, and we trust that you enjoy the next half hour. We're looking forward to enjoying it on this side of the aisle. I trust that you four have a good time in the next half hour.
I brought my guns, so we're all right.
You brought your guns. Well, I'll leave quietly right now. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before our panel a little bit later in the show, but now we'll meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Roger?
Maris.
Maris is right. Quite a name is right. Do you know Roger Maris, your namesake? You
Yes,
do know.
I do.
Where'd you meet him?
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Ah, where are you from yourself?
St. Pete.
You're from St. Petersburg, and that's spring training you
Yes,
met.
well, up to this year, they're going to change.
They're going to change, huh? I must say, yesterday he hit that critical home run.
Yes, he did. I was hoping he'd do
Yeah.
something.
I used to do that myself when I was playing ball. Well, that didn't do very well, did it?
No.
Well, it's nice to have you with us, Mr. Maris. May I present our panel? Now, will you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score on this game?
Yes,
I'm sure you know how they keep score on your namesake's game. And now that you know how to keep score, let's let the audience in the theater and the folks at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Roger Maris is self-employed and he deals in a service. And let's begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mr. Maris, we rule out baseball as far as your career is concerned?
Yes.
Do you do your work in or around St. Petersburg ever?
Yes.
Would the service ever involve being of service to human beings?
Yes.
As contrasted with animals. There are no animals in what you're
No.
concerned with. Do you have anything whatever to do with the hotel or restaurant business?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do people enjoy your services, Mr. Maris?
Sometimes.
Do you go to different places in your work rather than remain stationary?
Yes.
Would your work in any way be considered a performance of any kind?
You mean in the sense of the theater appearing before the public?
No, just a performance in that people might watch him at his work.
Well, I would say here, Arlene, we're going to give you a no, because while what he does is interesting, and if you were newly introduced to it, you might watch it out of pure personal interest, it is not something that would automatically draw a crowd, you know, as he was doing.
All right, John.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. O'Brien.
Does this service pertain to women more than men?
No.
3 down and 7.
Service that a household might employ.
When you say a household here, you mean all the occupants of a single dwelling bearing the same name or a name that has some basic association?
I mean, whatever would get me a yes.
Well, let me ask you one more question then, Dorothy. Do you mean a service which would be performed within
For any member of a family in a house, living in a house or an apartment.
That's what I was trying to get at. You meant in the house itself. That's no. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Maris, I must tell you, I met the real Roger the other night, one of the great thrills of my life, so I could boast to my sons that I'd met Roger.
He's a wonderful person.
I'd like to ask
Bennett got a big thrill out of this because Bennett couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a shovel. I just wanted to throw that in.
You're absolutely right. Mr. Maris, do you ever wear any particular kind of uniform or dress other than your usual clothing for the service you perform?
No.
May I have a small conference? Yeah, you see, actually, I think here, with your permission, I don't think that it would require a special kind of dress, Bennett, but since you said your usual kind of dress, we're assuming here you mean, for instance, a comfortable suit or a sport coat and jacket.
I meant, does he wear anything different than that?
Yeah, our guest would, I think, not wear what you're wearing tonight, for instance, doing your job, would you?
No.
No. So you go ahead, Bennett. We'll give you a qualified yes on
Well,
that.
do you perform some kind of physical service then? Do you do something with your hands? Is it manual?
Yes. Sometimes.
Would the costume that you wear be a protective one to keep you from getting dirt on yourself?
At times.
Does your work have anything to do with building?
Building? No. No, that would make it 5 down and 5 to go, and I would add here the note that while it is possible the costume would be worn because of the probability that there might be some soiling of it, it is not necessarily protective against soiling, right?
That's right.
Arlene?
Do you perform your service out of doors as a rule, Mr. Maris?
Yes, I do.
Do you stay on the land when you are performing? No, you're on the water.
Arlene, you caught me and I give up. You go ahead. You're still the question.
Can't get around with Arlene.
No, I sure can. I'll keep my hands on my lap hereafter.
Your eyes were beginning to water. That was it, John. Made me think of that. You do perform what you do on the water. You are...
Yes.
Yes. Are you in a boat on the water of some kind?
Yes.
Are you on a boat that carries passengers?
Yes.
Would it be either a sightseeing boat that you take people to see the different glens around St. Petersburg, or a ferry boat?
Or a sightseeing boat or a ferry boat?
No.
No, that's very good. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. O'Brien.
Do you do this in any one position?
No.
That's 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, if you take passengers, is it a fishing boat?
Yes.
Well, he's the captain of a fishing boat?
Right. Absolutely right. I'm afraid I gave you right.
Oh, I don't know how she got the
I moved toward the car. No, Roger wanted to know how did you get the water, and I said, because I moved toward the cards, and you saw me moving to go. I gave that away. Fully there. We tipped those off. Mr. Barris has his own boat, and you take fishing parties out into the Gulf of Mexico, so that both of our Marises are outdoor men, and I'm sure you're as skillful in your craft as Mr. Maris is on the Yankees with his.
I hope so.
And congratulations to you both. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being our guest. Nice to have you on What's My Line. And now let's meet our second contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Mohan, Singh, Rai. Right? Mr. Rai, where are you from?
From Delhi, India.
Delhi, India. Well, it's nice to have you with us coming so far. May I present our panel? Mr. Rai? Will you join me over here? Coming from Delhi, do you know how we keep score? Have you ever seen the program?
No.
Well, the panel will ask you questions, and every time that you can answer properly, no, we flip a card. 10 flips of the card, you win the game. If they can guess what it is that you do before that time, they win the game, or this section of the game.
John,
Now,
does Mr. Delhi know that you're John Charles Delhi?
it's Mr. Rai from Delhi, and you blew that one beautifully, and congratulations, Bennett Cerf. As far as I'm concerned, the show's over. Let's go home. Oh, this is wonderful. I've been waiting for weeks to get Bennett like this. So now, Mr. Rai, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Mr. Rai is self-employed. He deals in a product. And let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Rai, are you called Mr. Rai or Mr. Singh Rai?
Singh Rai.
Mr. Singh Rai. I'm one up on you,
Well,
John.
I'll
That's
leave
known as
now,
one-upmanship. Mr. Singh Rai, is this product anything I might be interested in?
Well, I would say this, that with your permission, I would say that it's an area in which we might properly consider that it was possible that under given or certain circumstances you might have some interest, yes.
Is it a product I could hold in my hand?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it a product that is or was once alive?
Yes.
Is it a product that crawls?
Yes.
Can.
Does it slither?
That's that.
No.
That's not. No.
No, it wouldn't slither. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. O'Brien.
Snake charmer.
Would this product be used by both men and women?
Would it be used by both men and women? Yes.
Yes.
Primarily by men.
I didn't get it again.
Primarily by men?
Both.
It would be used by both, Hugh. I think the best thing for us to say is it would be very hard to make a determination on that particular question. I would think that probably just as a matter of circumstance, it probably would be used more by men, but we couldn't, give you any firm answer on it.
Could you buy it in a drugstore?
In a drugstore?
No.
Interesting drugstores we have, but no. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Does this animal have feet?
Yes.
Does it have 4 feet? Would it be considered a wild animal?
Yes.
Is it a jungle beast?
Yes.
Is it something that is hunted by men?
No.
Well, let me say that...
Hunted them.
Yeah, let me have a small
I think we'd have to agree with that.
It's an elephant.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say we'd have to agree that in the general sense of hunting, that these are hunted, yeah.
Are they sometimes trapped and brought to this country, for instance, among others, to be in zoos?
Yeah.
Are they
Yes.
ever found in circuses?
Are they ever found in circuses? Yes.
Yes.
They could be found in circuses.
Are they larger than tigers?
Larger than
No.
tiger?
When
No,
grown?
not larger than a tiger. No, that's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
And then nothing to do with the elephant clan. Is that correct?
Yes, they have nothing to do with the elephant clan, no.
Are these rather ugly beasts?
Well, you might hurt their feelings, but... It would depend on the standards you were applying, but I guess we would agree, Mr. Singrai, that they were not considered beautiful. You think? I would think ugly might be a good term.
Do any of them have horns?
Horns?
No.
No horns. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Now, you said I could hold it in my hand, this animal. Is it anything in the monkey family or the orangutan family or the chimpanzee family or whatever those families are? Simian family. Thank you, Dorothy. It's not. I can tell by the expression. I can't think of it. Do you work on water? Oh, no, that was last time.
The answer is yes.
Oh, it's one of those. It's in the simian family.
That's right.
Is it, can it be tamed?
Yes.
Well, then, is it closer to a monkey than it is to an orangutan?
Yes.
Is it a monkey?
Yes.
Now all you have to figure out is what Mr. Singrai has to do with monkeys.
What you have to do with monkeys? Well, monkey business, yeah.
Monkey business is right. Mr. Singrai is an exporter of monkeys. He's with Vita, is it Vita Products?
Vita.
Yes. Vita Products in Delhi. Now, one thing I want to ask you, you said Delhi. Is Delhi synonymous with New Delhi, or are they two separate communities?
Well, it's separate somehow.
But they are
like
all...
Washington, D.C. and what have you.
And the Maryland communities around it.
Right.
I see, fine. One last question before you leave us. Is it always proper, because we Americans need a lot of instruction in this, is it always proper with an Indian name to use the last two, for instance, Sing Rai instead of Mr. Rai, you would say Mr. Sing Rai if you were being...
But it would be actually Mohan Singh.
So that the Rai would be what you'd forget?
Yes.
And if I would address you, it would be Mr. Mohan Singh,
That's
and I
right.
would forget the Rai.
That's right.
And this is always true with Indian names?
Well, that depends on section of the Indian community. So.
I see. Maybe I should never have gotten into this. Well, thank you very much for being our guest, sir. It was nice to have you with us on What's My Line. Well, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which the panel, as you know, is always blindfolded. Blindfolds in place, panel?
Yes.
Good. Will you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please? As you know, panel, in the case of our mystery challenger, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you known for your singing voice?
Are you known for your singing voice?
No.
1 down, 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you going to be in either a big television show or an opening movie or Broadway production within the next week?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you a leading man?
Yes. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. O'Brien.
You like horses?
Do you like what, Hugh?
Do you like horses?
Yes. Miss Kilgallen?
I suppose I should say, do you like dogs? I don't know. Well, are you primarily known for your work in movies rather than the stage or television? What's that?
That would be no. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Would you consider yourself a serious rival of Hugh O'Brien, that is, appearing in the same kind of work that he does?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Now, you're not primarily known for movies, for the theater, for television?
No, he might be for movies or television. I said as against.
Are you a familiar face in television?
Once yes and no.
Why are you answering, John?
Well, actually, because it's an area in which our guest would have has a cold and bronchitis and...
Well, we'd like to hear his voice, not we hear the sound of your voice tomorrow night.
Yes and no.
Mr. O'Brien?
Are you a musician?
Don't be vulgar.
What was that?
Don't be vulgar, I think.
Well, have you a musician in the sense of having musical ability and knowing how to use music fruitfully? Yes, but if you meant in the serious long hair sense, that would be no. Miss Kilgallen.
Well, there are a lot of serious musicians who aren't long-haired, John. What
Well, there we
Dave
are.
Brubeck is a long hair, but he's pretty serious. Thelonious Monk. It isn't anybody like that, is it?
Right.
That's a clarification. That's not my
right.
question.
Yeah.
All right. If you are not primarily known for movies or television, are you primarily known for either the theater or nightclubs?
Yes and no.
So I think yes would be that if, in the sense of the dual question, yes. Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever starred in a nightclub show?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Are you a man who was supposed to have said that Dean Martin was drinking some of your best material? Are you that greatest of all nightclub performers, Joey Lewis?
Yeah.
I think you will all begin to understand why I have some difficulties trying to define exactly the areas of music with which Joe is so tremendously proficient. Yeah, I didn't want to get you off on orchestra.
I have a cold, and I can't get rid of it. I've had it 38 years now, this cold. Stubborn case, you know.
Stubborn case. Presently, I would just guess, mostly because I always make a point of knowing where you are, Joe. I must agree with Miss Arlene. This is one of the dearest human beings that ever walked the face of earth, but a magnificent performer to boot. I think probably the greatest club performer that those of our generation and the younger generations lucky enough to be around here will ever know. At the Copacabana now. Stay with me. I'm a little bit shaken.
John.
Yes?
He's a great author, too.
He is a great author. The Joker is Wild.
Yeah,
It's a
he
book that...
published my book, Bennett, Cerf, Random House, but it was supposed to be my true life story, but it wasn't my true life story. Random House couldn't get a liquor license, see?
I think we ought to say that Joe is performing at the present time at the Copacabana, I believe,
Yes,
aren't you, Joe?
yes.
Oh, he wrote it up on the board.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
And we go to Vegas at the Flamingo. When you go there, I'll be there.
Oh,
Flamingo.
I'll be looking for you.
I visit my money all the time there.
I can't understand. Two strange things have happened in this series. Toots Shor is in New York, and you are. I expected both of you to be in Cincinnati. But I guess you're both working for a living. You work.
Him, not him.
He
I
doesn't
do.
work, but you do work. Joe, thank you for coming to be our guest, because Sunday night should be a rather busy night for
Yes,
you
it is.
anyway.
I have another show, but I'm all right. An hour.
An hour?
I have an hour.
Thank you, Joe,
John,
for
nice to
coming
see
to
you,
join
pal.
us in What's My
Good.
Life. Good night.
You do like horses.
I bet I'm more than you know.
Well, I must say that you've done very well tonight, panel, so I'll give you some congratulations, and we'll all be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. Well, Wyatt Earp, Hugh O'Brien, it's been nice to have you with us tonight. Hope you'll be back again soon.
Thank you very much.
And good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Good night, Mr. John Daly. And good luck on your special on October 19th. We look forward to seeing it with Jane Powell, is it?
It's called Feathertop.
Feathertop. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Hugh.
Good night. And good night, Miss Kilgallen. Nice to have been here next
Good night,
year.
Hugh. Please come again.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Bennett.
Good night, John Charles Delhi.
Beg your pardon?
Delhi.
You want to do two in one night, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's my Bennett for you all the time. Thank you, Bennett. Thank you all, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. The United Way means giving once for many services, saving time, saving money, getting more good out of your dollar. You help people in many ways. Give United. This is Ralph Paul speaking.
What's